traditional favorite to dance, the Bamba. Enrique Iglesias performing in a Millennium celebration in New York.
Para bailar la bamba, para bailar la bamba, necesito una poca de gracia, una poca de gracia, mi patita, y arriba, y arriba, y arriba, y arriba, por ti seré, por ti seré, por ti seré. Come on, New York! Come on! Break it down! Come on! Come on, baby! A little louder! Come on, come on!
Rocking in the new year in New York, and we now go to Las Vegas, to the Thomas M. X Center in Las Vegas.
This one I want to hear all singing.
Elton John in Las Vegas, rocking in the new year, as only he can do so well. Oh, another favorite.
Goodbye, Norma Jean, though I never knew at all, you have the grace to hold yourself while those around you crawl. They crawl right out the woodwork and they whisper into your brain. They said you on the treadmill and they made you change your name. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. And I would have liked to love you, but I was just a kid. Candle burned out long before the legend ever did. Loneliness was tough, the toughest road you ever played. I would create a superstar, and pain was the price you paid. Even when you died, oh, the press still hounded you. All the papers had to say was that Marilyn was found in the nude. And it seems to me you lived your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when the rain set in. I would have liked to love you, but I was just a kid. The candle burned out long before the legend ever did. Goodbye, Norma Jean, though I never knew at all, you have the grace to hold yourself when those around you crawl. Goodbye, Norma Jean, from the young man in the 22nd row who sees you something more than sexy, more than just our Marilyn Monroe. And it seems to me you left your life like a candle in the wind, never knowing who to cling to when rain set in. And I would have liked to love you, but I was just a kid. Candle burned out long before the legend ever did. Your candle burned out long before the legend ever did.
Elton John singing his tribute to Marilyn Monroe, whom he did not know. It also became a tribute to Princess Diana, whom he did, who was a friend. Princess Diana dying 1 month after his good friend Versace was killed. From Elton John in Las Vegas, showing the varied scope of our coverage of the Millennium celebrations, we take you now to Venice, where a very quiet and peaceful dawn is beginning to break. The dawn in Venice is taking place in the Church of Santa Maria della Salute. hearing Vivaldi in the background. Artistic dance, pantomime, and acrobatics, sort of a brief fresco. Over the last notes of this piece, 14 men and women dressed in imaginary 18th century costumes, a procession symbolizing returning at dawn from carousing gaily at an eternal and recurrent new year. They're pale and tired, shadows. They're wearing the typical gold and white mask covering the whole face. They're wearing the enormous and extremely elegant clothes of Carnival, and of course the masks. They are on the steps of the church of the Santa Maria della Salute in Venice, to the strains of Vivaldi. The groups are approaching, they're joining, they're taking up most of the square. We're looking at the Caccolo Dance Company. It's an Italian group made up of former Olympic light athletes and calisthenics champions. We should point out, while the 18th century gentlemen in the manner of Tiepolo move away towards nothingness, the spectator must realize that the sad, sweet shadows will reappear eternally, even in the third millennium, in our collective imagination. This is now Howard Blake's Benedictus. The troupe is now dancing to Howard Blake's Benedictus. At the end of this sequence, we'll see the changes in the sunrise. You're looking at dawn in Venice. Watching performers with the Alto Balletto, one of the famous contemporary dance companies in Italy and abroad. Colorful, rich choreography. The somersaults and tumbles draw us toward the longest and most important part of this fresco, the present day. See the sunrise over Venice. Start of the new year, year 2000, start of the new millennium. dancers and mimes performing. On the steps of the Church of Santa Maria della Salute in Venice. We're also seeing sunrise from the bell tower of St. Marco. Seeing the elegant, whimsical clothes of Carnival.
This is educational television. It is 9 years old, quite young in the annals of education. But then television itself is but new come to being. This afternoon, there were 67 stations in the country. Tonight, this becomes the 68th. In time, there will be over 200 such stations. It will, in short, be the development of a new fourth television network, serving all the peoples of the 50 states that are this land.
One TV for every 4 people on the planet. That's a lot of TVs, that's a lot of commercials. Good morning, my name is Will Durst, and this is the PBS MIllenium 2000 coverage. Still to come, all sorts of stuff. We have Dog Me, a film from Denmark that was shot live today. 4 leading Danish filmmakers got together, simultaneously shot 70 minutes of film about a bank robbery in downtown Copenhagen. Now, we got 5 minutes of this Y2 chaos to show you out of the 70 minutes that was shot today. Film has to be the art form of the 20th century, although I'm not quite sure Dog Me is the way to prove it. But has any of the art of this century made a permanent mark? Well, from Time magazine, Richard Schickel took a stab at answering the question in the magazine, and he singles out a couple for special mention. He names Matisse for the Red Studio and Picasso for Still Life with Chair, one of the earliest Cubist pieces. That was 1911. In music, Stravinsky causing the riot with the weird syncopations of the Rites of Spring. In 1914, James Joyce wrote Ulysses. Sort of wordplay reforms our notions of writing. In 21, Pirandello, 6 characters in search of an author, a play where the playwright isn't quite in total control of the characters and the audience has a final say about meaning. And in 1922, T.S. Eliot published The Wasteland. And of course, I think Schickel missed a couple. Obviously, he missed Frontline, which broke ground in television. Larry King, who I think revolutionized talk radio. Mason City, Illinois, you're on the air. Hello. Is the caller there? And of course, Citizen Kane, which I think remains the film of all time. But we'll see with Dogma. Will we be talking seriously about art in the next century, or will pop culture drown what's left? Only Puff Daddy knows for sure. I'm Will Durst for the MIllenium 2000 coverage. We're going to go to the experiment with film. Susan Rook, what is this thing?
I'm not exactly sure, Will, but it was certainly a big surprise. We are in Copenhagen now, where, as you mentioned earlier, these 4 film directors got together and they made Dog Me 95. But nobody knew that they were the people around didn't know that they were doing the film. So when the big bank downtown exploded exactly on the stroke of midnight, people thought it seemed like a very smart robbery. Now, it turned out to be an experimental film created, film name, of course, Dog Me 95.
It's an experiment. It's a MIllenium experiment. It's something completely new. It's something completely wild. It's first of all something completely unpredictable.
The idea is probably about that the media is the message. I would say that's the idea.
Medium is the message. Marshall McLuhan was one of the great thinkers of this century, at least for Those of us especially interested in words and language and the use of words and language to shape reality, culture, etc. So what happened was it all started at about 10 o'clock. 4 directors went out, made their plans. TV crews were given instructions. Look at some of the crews dashing out right now. Cameramen and actors found their 4 different positions in Copenhagen, and the crews and actors were on the set. The filmmaking started and cameras went on for 70 minutes, non-stop, directed by the directors by intercoms.
I think it's really a challenge. I think it's wonderful to work that in this speed. I think it's really, I can feel with all my brothers out in the dogma exactly the same thing happening, that we are all like horses who want to run now.
And they are running, by the way, as they create Dogma 95. Film will be broadcast by the 4 largest Danish television stations this evening, less than 24 hours after its making. By the way, each of the 4 characters didn't have the full story of the story. So there was like a lot of ad-libbing. I don't know, kind of a combination of pseudo-documentary and performance art, perhaps.
Ingen kommer til at se den samme film.
So each of the 4 channels that this will be broadcast on will be broadcasting different segments. So you're seeing what will be broadcast, but you see the different actors and the different characters in each of those 4 boxes.
The editing and the choice of pictures is months of working, so this is all over in one night. I'd really like that.
So as you see the different actors, you, the viewer, can kind of shape and choose what film you want to see, what the ending you want to see. Oh, that's interesting. The characters only rehearsed their parts once before recording, so they had to improvise while shooting. There's some improvisation.
It's kind of mind-blowing that you don't know what to do and how things will go, but it's very exciting too.
It's a lot like live television, where sort of anything can happen, and usually does.
Yes!
Live from our nation's capital and around the globe, this is PBS MIllenium.